Potato.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Ann Sanders.
First and four, good afternoon. There are encouraging signs in our coronavirus fight. With only 6 new cases confirmed in New South Wales overnight, now life for some Sydney-siders is starting to return to normal. Chief reporter Chris Reason is at Coogee. Chris, we've seen closed beaches reopen today. Have beachgoers been playing by the rules?
Well, so far so good, and good afternoon to you. And as you can probably see behind me there, not that many people coming down to Coogee Beach. They have chosen the perfect day for the relaunch, the lifting of these restrictions, though. It is overcast, slightly cold, guaranteeing perhaps that lower numbers are going to come down here to Coogee Beach today. We spoke to the Randwick Mayor, Danny said. He's told us that they decided to open after these 3 weeks, strictly though for exercise on the beach, running, walking, surfing, swimming. There is no stopping, no sunbaking. Further north though, Bronte, Tamarama and Bondi are still closed, and that is causing some confusion and angst. The opposition today pointing out that there is still a lot of confusion and mixed messaging going on with the closure of the beaches up and down the coastlines north and south of the city, questioning why the state government hasn't applied consistent rules. Now this morning, Premier Gladys Berejiklian welcomed the council's move but reminded people that should the social distancing rules be broken or ignored, the beaches will be closed again.
So hard, all of us have given up a lot to get to where we are. And then if a handful of people do the wrong thing, we're back to where we were a month ago, and we don't want to be back there.
It was awesome. It's so good. Everyone's smiling, chatting to each other. Everyone is really happy.
They seem to be maintaining social distance, so it's pretty good, yeah.
More grim news for the Newmarch Aged Care Facility. Another 2 positive tests there. It takes the total now to 41 at that facility. 14 of them staff, 27 are residents. Not good news as they battle that outbreak within that aged care facility. And encouraging news too on the statewide testing program for New South Wales Health, revealing that 2 weeks ago they tested some 20,000 people. Last week it was up to 24,000. That's an encouraging jump of 4,000 people, and they still want more to come forward as they set up more testing centres around the state. Anne?
Thanks, Chris. A 27-year-old man has been charged after he punched and spat on a Woolworths security guard. Robert Avadia is at Marylands. Rob, this is yet another example of shopping staff being abused.
Well, without doubt, this pandemic has showcased the best of humanity, but it also reveals the worst. And the number of spitting incidents we've seen is a case in point, specifically here at Maryland's Woolworths yesterday, just before close, I'm told. This video was taken of a 27-year-old man having allegedly abused other shoppers because they were not practicing social distancing before he takes offence at security guards ushering him on and moving him out of the supermarket, that he spits in their face before then throwing a right hook into the face of the security guard, giving him a split lip and requiring surgery in hospital. It appalled not only shoppers but also colleagues of the security guard and other small businesses who watched it happen.
It is terrible. I know him. He's very sad.
This morning, $5,000 fines for spitting offences were extended to anybody caught spitting at somebody else. As of yesterday, that only applied to first responders. So that means this 27-year-old will escape a $5,000 fine.
The fine for the $5,000 starts as of today, and of course this incident happened yesterday afternoon.
So in spite of the fact this 27-year-old does not have to pay the $5,000 in fines, he will have to pay a hefty legal bill. He's been charged, among other things, with common assault for the spitting offences, but also with recklessly inflicting grievous bodily harm for his punch on the security guard, and that attracts a maximum 10 years in jail.
Rob, thank you. The fight to save Virgin Australia has resulted in an extraordinary war of words between states. New South Wales has proposed a rescue plan for the embattled airline, moving its headquarters from Brisbane to Sydney, which garnered this response from a Queensland minister.
Now, New South Wales might want to bring a pea shooter to the fight, that's fine. We'll bring a bazooka and we're not afraid to use it.
We'll have more of the fiery exchange between MPs later in this bulletin. Tech giants Google and Facebook will be forced to pay media outlets to use their news content under new rules announced by the federal government. Live to Olivia Leeming in Canberra. Hello, Olivia. How have the companies responded?
Well, and Facebook says it is disappointed with the government's announcement, arguing it's invested millions of dollars to support Australian publishers. Google, seemingly less hostile, it says it is willing to work constructively on this. The government will force them to pay Australian news outlets to use their content by asking the regulator to create a new mandatory code of conduct by the end of July after progress on a voluntary code stalled, hoping this will help save mainstream media, which is struggling from a steep fall in advertising revenue from the pandemic. The Treasurer says it is time to hold the tech giants to account.
What we want to see is a level playing field. What we want to see here is a fair go for the companies and for the journalistic content that is prepared.
This is an overdue but very welcome step. Labor has been calling for some time for this process to be fast-tracked.
Olivia, do we know exactly how these new rules will be enforced?
Well, no, and that is the crucial question. It's still unclear exactly what mechanism will be used to charge these tech giants and how much they will be forced to pay. The Treasurer expects this will save media companies millions of dollars, but we know that Facebook and Google have both resisted paying for news in the past. In France, even refusing to show news stories to avoid paying publishers. And if they find a way to avoid paying here, this new code might not be as effective.
Olivia Leeming in Canberra. Thank you, Olivia. The Ruby Princess is now the source of nearly 1,000 cases of coronavirus worldwide and linked to at least 21 deaths. Finally, there's an end in sight to its disastrous visit to Australia. Marley Hogan has the latest on when the ship is expected to leave.
Good afternoon, Anne. The Ruby Princess is due to leave Australia on Thursday. Authorities say the ship is restocked, refuelled and ready to leave. That is despite another 19 crew members testing positive for coronavirus overnight, bringing the total number of crew members on board with the deadly virus to 190. Authorities admit there are a few hurdles they'll need to pass before the ship is given the all clear, but they are pushing ahead. Some chartered flights will be organised to take crew members back to their home countries, while others will depart on the Ruby Princess.
It's important that we get this right. There are a number of connecting factors. The people need to be well. We need to get them to the airport, we need to get them onto chartered flights, and we need to get them back to their countries.
The Ruby Princess is still at the centre of a major police investigation. It has been linked to 21 deaths and hundreds of infections worldwide. And tonight we hear from the president of Princess Cruises, who has described this tragedy as a terrible incident that has affected hundreds of passengers and crew members.
It was a shaky start to Term 2 for Queensland students, with a major online meltdown this morning. Parents and children were unable to access remote learning, with the education portal crashing as students flooded the system. Eyes will now be on other states as students begin their terms via virtual classrooms. Harry and Meghan have severed ties with 4 major UK tabloids. In a letter sent to The Sun, Daily Mail, Daily Express and Daily Mirror, the couple say they will no longer offer themselves up as currency for an economy of clickbait and distortion. That as Meghan prepares to sit down with Good Morning America in her first interview since the couple's royal exit. And Harry has sparked anger with his controversial take on COVID-19. More details on what he claimed shortly. Let's check our weather with David Brown. Hello, Brownie. How was the day?
Yeah, good afternoon, Anne. Well, as you can see behind me, it's rather dull, and it's been a cool day too throughout the entire Sydney Basin. The reason why we have this extensive deck of middle-level cloud that stretches all the way across our state. Yes, from boundary to boundary. It's also been producing some light patchy rain as well about the western slopes of the Great Dividing Range. But over the next 5 days, it's a dry outlook for our state. As you can see, as we run through our future radar, not a drop is expected in our backyard right through until, well, Saturday evening. Water storage, well, that's dropped in the past week, and I guess that's not surprising. There hasn't been any rain around. It's dropped by 0.3%, currently sits at 82.9% in total capacity. Fog patches are likely in the outer west first thing as temperatures drop down to around 8 degrees in the outer southwest. But right now, as we look at current conditions, you'll see it's sitting on 19 degrees in Camden. Bankstown, it's 20. A little bit cooler in Terry Hills. It's only 17 degrees. Local forecast in detail, top of the hour, Anne.
See you then, Brownie. Still to come in Sydney's afternoon news on 7, the US state's intent on reopening even as the country's COVID-19 death toll soars. Home coronavirus testing, a warning from doctors and an investigation from the state's watchdog. And only minutes old, a baby saved from the scene of a car crash.
We're going into battle against a tough and determined enemy.
Every Monday, mates bringing in the big guns with extraordinary heroes and incredible battles.
You guys are crazy.
Mates Military Mondays continues tonight on Mate.
Need a dry shampoo that refreshes and nourishes your hair? Try the new OGX dry shampoo range at Chemist Warehouse. They're infused with your favourite OGX ingredients like renewing argan oil, nourishing coconut milk, volumizing cherry blossom and refreshing green tea. Try OGX Refresh and Renew Argan Oil Dry Shampoo for $9.99 and discover the new OGX styling range at Chemist Warehouse. Live, look, feel fabulous every day at Chemist Warehouse.
Wish you had internet that didn't let you down? That doesn't leave you hanging and won't have you missing any of the action? Get Vodafone NBN with 4G backup. Plans start from just $65 a month. And with free express delivery, connect instantly once you receive it. Buy online today at vodafone.com.au. Ready?
Join AHM Hospital and Extras Direct and you'll get 6 weeks free. Plus, we'll waive any 2 and 6 month waits on extras.
Yay!
Whether you're a single, a couple, or a family. It's that simple. That doesn't look very simple. Offer ends June 30. Find out more and join AHM Direct today. AHM, the simple bit.
Are you confident you can cover your living costs in retirement? A Challenger lifetime annuity can complement your existing retirement income, giving you guaranteed income for life. Find out more at challenger.com.au.
Great Sealy Posturepedic deals now at Harvey Norman with up to $100 cashback on selected ranges, plus receive bonus local delivery on any of our featured mattresses, like the Oslo Firm Queen mattress from Sealy's amazing Elevate range, only $11.99. The Geneva features exclusive liquid gel memory foam in 3 feels, only $19.99 each. The exquisite Vienna Medium Queen mattress, great price, plus bonus local delivery and $100 cashback. See more Sealy deals in store, now at Harvey Norman.
Go!
Guess who's on the telly?
Mummy! Hi, Mummy.
Hi, sweetheart.
Proudly fueling Australian hockey fans, big and small. Sultana Bran. Full-on days start with full-on fibre.
Head to Macca's right now if you're looking for a treat and get a creamy McFlurry for only $2 or a McValue Family Box for $24.95. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.
You're watching 7's 4 p.m. Sydney News. This is a view from Parramatta today. Right now it's 19 degrees. Businesses in some US states have been given the green light to reopen as thousands of Americans protest against stay-at-home orders. As Paul Caddick reports from New York, the death toll from the virus has now risen above 41,000.
Good afternoon. It is the debate that's happening right across the United States right now. Just when is it time to reopen the economy, with more protests demanding an end to stay-at-home rules? The latest one's being held in Colorado and Washington state, saying that these restrictions are not only causing economic pain, but are a blow against liberty and freedom, while others argue they are there to protect the public health. The first states are set to begin the first steps towards reopening. Texas and Vermont will tomorrow allow certain businesses to reopen. But almost everyone agrees the key is testing, having enough testing capability to do them en masse and quickly to determine who's had the virus and who currently has the virus. President Donald Trump says that the states have all the testing capacity they need, and the Vice President has backed that up today.
There is a sufficient capacity of testing across the country today for any state in America to go to a phase 1 level.
But governors, both Democrat and Republican, are firing back.
That's just delusional to be making statements like that.
To say that the governors have plenty of testing and they should just get to work on testing, somehow we aren't doing our job, is just absolutely false.
Some experts saying that the United States will have to triple the level of testing it currently is doing. Here in New York, there are more positive signs the spread of the virus is being halted, but there's caution it's far too soon to relax restrictions.
We can control the beast, yes, but the beast is still alive. We did not kill the beast. And the beast can rise up again.
More than 41,000 people have now died from coronavirus here in the United States, and that death toll has doubled in just a week. From New York, it's back to you.
2 police officers have been shot after a bus was hijacked in Texas. This was the scene as police chased down the vehicle, which had been taken over at gunpoint. Spike strips eventually brought the bus to a halt, leading to a shootout in which 2 officers were wounded. The gunman was also struck and died in hospital. Police body cam has shown the moment a newborn baby was saved from the scene of a car crash. The mother had given birth while on the way to hospital. The car then slammed into a power pole, and when police arrived, the newborn baby was nowhere to be found. The child was discovered under the back seat of the SUV and taken to hospital, where mum and baby are expected to be okay. A Sydney naturopath is under investigation for advertising the sale of COVID-19 tests online for $130 each. Evan Batten is at North Ryde. Evan, the Healthcare Complaints Commission will look into this.
Yeah, the HCCC has confirmed to 7 News that it is investigating the Bella Vista Natural Therapies Clinic over concerns that it was advertising home testing kits for COVID-19. $130 a pop. We caught up with the naturopath Diana Mund, who also goes by the name of Athena Diana Mund. We gave her the opportunity to explain why she was advertising the kits on her Facebook website. And she actually blatantly denied selling them.
There's nothing to talk about.
Well, there is. It's quite a concerning thing.
No, because it's fake news.
You're trying to sell home testing kits.
No, we're not.
What are you selling?
No, I'm not selling anything.
But as you can see here on this advertisement, her practice's phone number and email address are clearly seen on the advertisements, which were prominently displayed on her website, although we do point out it has now been taken down. The AMA New South Wales president couldn't have been clearer about just how dangerous these home testing kits can be.
Convenience is not the same thing as accuracy, and it's not the same thing as doing the right thing. This can lead to false senses of reassurance. It can lead to false senses of security. And this can be dangerous to the individual and the community.
The AMA stresses that not only are those home testing kits dangerous because of the false results that they can give, they're also charging you $130 for a service which, at these testing sites behind me, are done for free.
Thanks, Evan. Next in 7's afternoon news, a police shooting in suburban Sydney. What led to the deadly confrontation? Nowhere to run, no place to hide, as 3 COVID rule breakers tried to evade authorities. And in sport, Josh Hazlewood weighs in on the prospect of a new pay war with Cricket Australia.
Tonight on 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
A vile supermarket spitting attack caught on camera. Virgin Battle, our state tries to lure the airline away from Queensland, and a deadly shooting at Rockdale.
Tonight on 7 News at 6.
911, what's your emergency?
The adrenaline-charged show people can't get enough of. New 911, tonight on 7.
Hi, I'm Jo from Westpac, and I'm here to show you how easy it is to set up online banking on your computer. First, type westpac.com.au/register into your browser. Now on this page, select the Register button at the right-hand side of the screen. Next, enter your Westpac card details or your customer ID along with your name and date of birth. You'll find your customer ID on your statement. In some cases, you may be asked some security questions to confirm your identity. You'll need to create a password that you'll use to log back into Westpac online banking. Finally, you'll need to confirm or update your email and mobile number. Perfect. You're all set up. If you need any more information, visit westpac.com.au/register. And above all, please stay safe.
With Apple CarPlay and voice command, the Hyundai Tucson is made for it.
Siri, find me a tent.
Even if you're not.
Lemons, just enough zest. Chilies, right amount of heat. And the most delicate piece of tuna. Only the best ingredients make the cut. It's what John West rejects that makes John West deli tuna the best.
Guys, we've got another jackpot winner.
Ozlotto, will your numbers bring you a truckload of cash this Tuesday?
Play now in-store at thelot.com or on the Lot app.
As credit to you, here's up to $120 credit from us. Add any selected month-to-month mobile plan with Vodafone and get the credit you deserve over 12 months. Find out more at vodafone.com.au. Ready?
In the game of tennis, we've learnt that it's hard to predict what will happen next. But when you turn 50, you can be a little more certain. If you're aged between 50 and 74, the government will send you a free bowel cancer screening test every 2 years. Why? Because if bowel cancer is detected early, it can be successfully treated in more than 90% of cases. So, do the test and stay ahead of the game.
With AGL, get up to $100 in credits. That's $75 for electricity and $25 for gas. Just for signing up your home energy with AGL online. Only available at agl.com.au.
Time for sport now with Mel McLaughlin. And Mel, there's breaking news in the NRL.
Hi, Anne. Yes, a huge story developing. Todd Greenberg has stood down as the chief executive of the NRL, effective immediately. He'd been under huge pressure ever since the coronavirus pandemic exposed the perilous state of the game's finances. Chief Commercial Officer Andrew Abdo has been appointed acting chief executive while they search for a replacement. ARLLC Chairman Peter V'landys thanked Greenberg for his contribution to the game over the last 7 years and as chief executive for the last 4 years. Well, the quest to restart the competition on May 28 continues, with the Warriors waiting on clearance from federal authorities to enter Australia. The Kiwi side is working through a host of logistical challenges, including whether they can avoid the mandatory 14-day quarantine period if allowed to enter the country.
This is bigger than just our team, and whilst we're hopeful of these exemptions taking place, no matter what is the response, we'll certainly respect it.
The Broncos have rejected a proposal to relocate to Sydney. They hope to set up base in northern New South Wales if forced to leave Queensland. Star paceman Josh Hazlewood admits the dire state of Cricket Australia's finances came as a surprise to the players. With substantial pay cuts looming, Hazlewood added his voice to calls for CA to be transparent with their financial position, but he is confident there will be no messy pay war with the governing body like we saw back in 2017.
The relationships are a lot better now between the ACA and CA, and they've developed a long way, I think, in the last 18 months. It's all positive from our end, and I think from both ends. So.
Having stood down nearly all staff on 20% pay until at least the end of June, Cricket Australia is now trying to secure a $200 million bank loan. An announcement from Rugby Australia on player pay cuts is imminent. Lengthy negotiations between the governing body and the Players Association have resulted in what amounts to an average salary reduction of around 60% for Super Rugby and Sevens players for the next 6 months. Once the deal is official, Rugby Australia can apply to assess its share of World Rugby's $160 million relief funds. Well, one of the most anticipated sporting documentaries of all time is here. The Last Dance, a series about Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls, debuted to huge acclaim this morning. Jordan's legendary competitive instinct was typified by his determination to return early from a serious foot injury.
I said to Michael, you're not understanding the risk-reward ratio. If you had a terrible headache and I gave you a bottle of pills, and 9 of the pills would cure you and 1 of the pills would kill you, would you take a pill?
And I look at him, I said, depends on how bad the headache is.
The second episode touched on Scottie Pippen's anger at being grossly underpaid. He earned less than Aussie teammate Luke Longley. Well, social distancing was thrown out the window when a bodyline pitch sparked a bench-clearing brawl in the Taiwan Baseball League.
Here we go, folks. Sosa fires one and the benches are cleared. We could have a big problem here as Sosa's ready to take on the whole team and the bench is clear. Bats are getting thrown.
Yeah, the players could hardly blame a hostile atmosphere given they're playing in front of cardboard cutouts, a few cheerleaders and drumming robots. Just bizarre scenes.
They're passionate, aren't they?
They certainly are. We're going to have plenty more on that developing story around Todd Greenberg in 6 o'clock.
All right, thank you very much, Mel.
Thanks.
3 young men attempting to flout social distancing laws have been given a rude shock. Caught gathering on a rooftop by police. Polly spotted the trio at Queensland's Palm Beach on Saturday night. They were issued fines of more than $1,000. A man armed with a meat tenderizer and a hammer has been shot dead by police. After receiving a tip-off, officers tracked the man's phone to a park in Rockdale where the deadly confrontation unfolded. Natasha Squarey filed this report from the scene.
Well, Anne, police say they tried to talk to the man and calm him down, but when he lunged at officers with a meat tenderizer and a hammer, they fired their tasers. But when that didn't stop him, one officer fired a single shot. The 51-year-old man suffered a significant wound to his chest and collapsed on the side of Bay Street here at Rockdale. Police and paramedics performed first aid, but he didn't survive. Officers today confirmed the man had been at his Brighton Les Sands home earlier in the evening and had made threatening phone calls to another person. That individual has then called police and investigators tracked the suspect's phone to this reserve just before midnight. After an hour-long search, police came face to face with him and they say he lunged at officers with the weapons. It all played out in a matter of seconds.
It's one of those confronting situations for officers that have to attend these sort of sets of circumstances. No police officer goes to work wanting this to happen, I can assure you of that.
The officer who fired the fatal shot has been in the force for less than 12 months. Today he was interviewed and has been offered counselling. The shooting will now be the focus of an independent review. And
palm-sized chunks of hail have caused widespread damage across parts of central Queensland. The Weather Bureau warned of potentially giant hailstones before the quick but vicious storm lashed the region. The worst hit areas were Rockhampton, Gladstone and Yeppoon. This afternoon's top stories are next. As Sydney's beaches reopen, we look at the latest coronavirus figures across the state. State versus state. Choice words in the battle to save Virgin Australia. And stimulus report card, the impact on households as Aussies get early access to their super. We're back soon.
Are you ready for takeoff?
Yes, baby.
When you're smiling.
Now that's more like it.
When you're smiling.
That is how you do it.
The whole world smiles with you.
How amazing was that?
You're smiling. The whole world smiles.
Get ready. We're celebrating the extraordinary, brand new Britain's Got Talent. Wednesday, 7:30 on 7.
Rise and shine, Belinda.
Because NIB Rewards gives me discounts on hundreds of everyday items and experiences. Items like you.
Join NIB today. It's worth it.
Want your daily dose of recommended fish oil in an easy-to-swallow mini capsule? Discover the Healthy Care Fish Oil Mini Caps Odorless from Chemist Warehouse. Easy to swallow with no bad aftertaste, it has the same amount of omega-3s as a standard 1,000 milligram fish oil capsule and helps support joint, eye and brain health. At Chemist Warehouse, Healthy Care Fish Oil Mini Caps Odorless 400 is $15.99. Try the Australian-made Healthy Care today. Live, look, feel well at Chemist Warehouse.
Feed the family with Hungry Jack's new family bundle. Treat yourself with 2 Whoppers, 2 cheeseburgers, 4 small chips, 4 Cokes, 10 nuggets and sauce, only $24.95. Get takeaway, drive-through or delivery at Hungry Jack's.
Every day, we work to make our networks stronger and more reliable. So even when we can't be close, we can still be connected together.
From home time to sleepy time, IKEA designs around life's precious moments. So make mess, mohawks, and laugh until your belly hurts. Because with IKEA, there really is no place like home.
NRMA Insurance has always been committed to helping Australians. And while you're at home during this time, our customer care team remains on hand, continuing to help, as we always will.
Live from Sydney, 7 News with Ann Sanders.
Welcome back. Our top story this afternoon. Sydney-siders have taken advantage of reopened beaches as the state recorded just 6 new COVID-19 cases overnight. The government is urging against complacency, though, saying social distancing measures remain in place.
I think we have to be honest and open that this is going to be a challenge to pick up every case. I am therefore messaging anyone with the mildest of symptoms, anything, err with caution.
There are still serious concerns for a Western Sydney nursing home with 41 infections and 2 deaths now recorded at Newmarch House near Penrith. The battle to save Virgin Australia has sparked a major political brawl. New South Wales has offered to help save the airline, but only if it moves its headquarters from Queensland. Chris Marr is following the story. Chris, Queensland is using fighting words.
As Virgin Australia battles to stay afloat because of the coronavirus, it has at least state governments vying for its future business. Now, Virgin is desperately seeking government financial aid after being grounded by COVID-19 restrictions. The New South Wales Treasurer has lit a fuse with Queensland, indicating his government's interest in luring the Virgin headquarters from Queensland to the Western Sydney aerotropolis at Badgerys Creek. He says that has already been a subject of negotiation prior to the crisis generated by the virus.
We're in a fight to keep businesses in business and people in jobs.
Now, that has prompted a furious and colourful reaction from the Queensland government.
Now, New South Wales might want to bring a pea shooter to the fight, that's fine. We'll bring a bazooka and we're not afraid to use it.
Over the weekend, Queensland stumped up $200 million in assistance to Virgin. The New South Wales Premier this morning says her government is interested in giving the airline a new home. Unions say none of this will guarantee Virgin's survival right now. They say if the airline does fall over, it will be up to the federal government to find $800 million in employee entitlements.
A gunman disguised as a police officer has killed at least 12 people during a rampage in Nova Scotia, Canada. The gunman, identified as 51-year-old local Gabriel Wortman, led authorities on a 100-kilometre chase through the coastal town of Portapique.
Something that I never ever expect to happen here, this close to home.
The suspect was cornered and killed at a petrol station. Prince Harry has been slammed by medical officers after he seemingly downplayed the health emergency facing the nation. His comments follow severe criticism of Boris Johnson's government for its response to the pandemic. Sarah Greenwald has more.
Well, speaking from his new home in LA, Prince Harry has said that in his opinion, he doesn't think the situation in the UK is quite as bad as the public is being told. He made these remarks during a podcast interview, and health experts here have labelled them as outrageous.
I think what has happened, especially in the UK, is, I mean, it's the very best of the human spirit. You know, it's also proving that I think things are better than we're led to believe through, you know, certain corners of the media.
One quite high-profile British physician in particular, who was once a Downing Street advisor, has said, quote, "What are his qualifications for making these comments other than deserting his country in its hour of need?" Prince Harry isn't the only one to come under fire. In the past 24 hours, the UK government has been highly criticised for its handling of the pandemic in the lead-up to the outbreak. Critics say Boris Johnson in particular sleepwalked into the crisis. Downing Street has defended its handling of the crisis, saying the right moves were made at the right times. But there is now a critical shortage of protective gear for doctors and nurses on the front line. 84 tonnes of PPE was due to arrive from Turkey today, but that shipment has now been delayed. They were expecting another 400,000 gowns, but doctors say they will now run out by Monday afternoon. The death toll in the UK is now more than 16,000 after another 596 lives were lost in the past 24 hours. Across Europe, the combined death toll from COVID-19 is now more than 100,000.
A 54-year-old man arrested in a dramatic struggle with police at Bondi Beach yesterday insists he did nothing wrong by taking an ocean swim. Peter Fegan is at Bondi's Ben Buckler Reserve. Peter, you've spoken to the man in question.
Yeah, well, and Dmitry Moskovich is a well-known Bondi identity. You'll often find him at the outdoor workout area or swimming at the famous beach. And this morning he told 7 News that police overreacted and that he's done nothing wrong when he was arrested late yesterday afternoon in his Speedos. Now, it's alleged that Moskovich at roughly 3:30 yesterday afternoon was approached by police after they noticed him walking through fencing near the rock platform at Ben Buckler Point, allegedly contravening the local government directions. The area is closed. When police started speaking with him, Moskovich is accused of becoming argumentative.
And the guys jumped on me like two crazy dogs jumping on a lion. The woman jumped on my legs, the guy on my neck. They were just absolutely doing anything.
Now, also speaking this morning was New South Wales Police Deputy Commissioner Gary Warboys. He was asked if he thought his officers were too aggressive.
Any arrest in a public space is a confronting scene, but the alternative is that police stand by and let people walk by after allegedly committing offences, and I can't support that.
Now, and after his arrest, Dmitry Moskovich was taken to Waverley Police Station. He was there for around 5 hours before being charged with 2 offences, including resist arrest. He'll now be before court in July.
Fear of hacking is behind Barnaby Joyce's decision not to download the government's coronavirus tracing app. Set to launch in coming weeks, the app will trace mobile phone users who come into contact with people who have tested positive to coronavirus. But the Nationals MP remains sceptical.
My major concerns is, doesn't matter what they say, there's always the capacity for people to hack into it. Well, at this point in time, I'm not comfortable with what I've heard. And I doubt very much whether I'll get to that point.
Tonight at 6, find out why one of the big banks says Australians have no reason to fear the technology. Australian consumer spending has taken a dive, despite the injection of a $750 government stimulus handout. Brian Seymour reports some of that money has been spent on food and rent, but around half is being kept in reserve.
Australians have been spending the stimulus payment from the federal government, helping to lift some areas of the economy, but the latest dire predictions on the immediate future mean we could be in for a long, hard slog. Overall, total consumer spending is down almost 20% on the levels before the lockdown. But the $750 stimulus payment is helping. Among the things people are spending it on include groceries, clothing and merchandise, rent and housing, and takeaway food.
So supermarkets are going great, pet care is going really well, home alcohol, online gambling, all those sectors that people are relying on more now that they're spending more time at home.
It's mostly lower income earners who are spending right now. Higher income earners have the discretion to choose what they spend on, and they're spending less. As for the businesses that are faring better than others at the moment, food delivery is up 59%, apps, gaming and music have all risen by 53%, and online gambling has jumped 38%. As you'd expect, businesses like gyms have taken a massive hit, down 96%, along with entertainment and venues down 90% and travel minus 84%. Analysts predict up to 28% of Australian workers, or 3.6 million people, could lose their jobs, contributing to a further steep decline in overall economic activity. Analysts say we will need further stimulus. This week, superannuation funds will begin distributing up to $10,000 to Australians who've applied to access it. Nearly 1 million have applied so far.
Thanks, Brian. Racial tensions have boiled over in Victoria, where a doctor claims he's the latest victim of the COVID-19 fallout. Tegan Dolling spoke to the popular doctor, who's calling on the public to be nicer to one another.
A Geelong doctor is the latest victim of a racist attack. Dr Ern Chang had just grabbed a coffee on Saturday morning when his car tapped the front of another. And before he could tell the woman, the driver of the other car, what had happened, she began swearing and yelling racist remarks.
She walked out of an IGA and said, "You shouldn't be here, you should be at home, get the F out of here, go away." She repeated that a couple of times. She got into her car and said, "I bet your name is Lee, isn't it?" And then she drove off.
Dr Chang believes the attack may have been driven by coronavirus, that the fear of it has brought out underlying issues of racism.
Well, I think it's a deep-seated sentiment in some segments of the community, a lot of bitterness, and having a virus that obviously has come out of China gave them the excuse to blame it on all Chinese people.
It's as 2 international students were both physically and verbally attacked in the city on Wednesday. It's alleged Jakara Brigham and another woman yelled, "Go back to China," and made reference to COVID-19.
Jakara, are you a racist?
Despite police alleging that Brigham had threatened to kill the 2 women, she was last night bailed.
We're live to CommSec for the latest on your money next, plus the coronavirus impact, the patients too afraid to visit the doctor for other health concerns. United in song, the young musicians honouring our diggers for a very different Anzac Day. And it's 19 degrees in Bondi. Brownie has Sydney's forecast soon.
Do you forget your shirt, or are you just trying to get everyone's attention?
What's a girl got to do to get the guy?
I have seriously lost my mojo.
Try flirting?
Look like a man who'd be good with his hands.
Try yelling?
I like you! I just need a different tactic.
Or don't say anything. One approach will work, but which one?
I believe in second chances.
Do you like me too? Home and Away, tonight at 7.
A lot's changed over the last few months. For over 100 years, Allianz Australia has supported its customers through uncertainty and change. And we'll continue to ensure what matters most to you, because our support doesn't stop here.
A few days ago, James had neck pain. Then he discovered Voltaren Emel Gel. It relieves pain 2 times faster and reduces inflammation. Now with a no-mess applicator.
Wish you had internet that didn't let you down? That doesn't leave you hanging and won't have you missing any of the action? Get Vodafone NBN with 4G backup. Plans start from just $65 a month. And with free express delivery, connect instantly once you receive it. Buy online today at vodafone.com.au. Ready?
Hyundai Kona. Way more fun than your car.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's on the play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
What if you're missing information that could affect your child's future? Like important information about meningococcal disease. A rare but potentially deadly and devastating illness, most common in infants and adolescents. Missing information could mean missing out on a whole lot more. Speak to your doctor for more information on meningococcal disease and how you can help protect your family.
Infused oil deluxe crisps from Red Rock Deli.
In this time of uncertainty, you need the latest facts.
We've got some breaking news now.
That's why every night, the latest answers your critical questions.
The overall curve continues to flatten.
What's developing?
An idea of just how big this debacle has been.
Get the latest from 7 News every night.
An escaped pig has led police on a wild chase in the US. Officers were called to a property in Connecticut to help wrangle the pet. Body cam shows the pig outstepping 3 officers and an owner. The 45-minute pursuit ended when an officer managed to trap the animal in a garbage can. Time to check the financial markets now with Tom Petrosky at CommSec. Hello, Tom. Oil prices weighed on the market as they hit multi-year lows today.
They did indeed, Anne, and it was the reason that the market sold off initially, but then there was quite a steep sell-off towards the end, and the market was down by almost 2.5%. So, as you rightly point out, oil prices plunge in after-hours trade in New York. They were down by just over 20% at one stage, a 21-year low. So that obviously weighed on local energy stocks. Woodside Petroleum shares were down by around 4%, but still in the energy sector, Caltex shares sold off quite aggressively today. The reason being that the Canadian-based Couche-Tard, which had had an $8.8 billion takeover bid for the organisation, said that it wasn't the right time for them to pursue this transaction, and as a result, Caltex shares were down by around 8%. The Aussie dollar a bit firmer at 63.5 US cents.
Tom Petrosky from CommSec. Thank you, Tom. Medical authorities hold grave concerns for patients delaying diagnostic tests and treatment due to COVID-19. Many are avoiding going to the doctor for other conditions. And as Casey Treloar explains, doctors fear it could spark a second health emergency.
Experts say it's a worrying symptom of the COVID-19 panic. Australians putting off visiting their specialist or GP for fear of coming in contact with someone infected with the virus. After suffering a near-fatal heart attack 2 years ago, Robin Kelly knows every second counts.
If that had been 5 minutes later, I wouldn't have had CPR done and I wouldn't have been able to survive.
But doctors say patients gripped with coronavirus fear aren't calling for help, even when they're experiencing heart attack symptoms.
People leaving chest pain, for example, and that's an example where it just doesn't make sense. Your risk of heart attack is pretty high and dying is pretty high.
Don't take the risk. You've got to call 000 and get to the doctor as soon as you can.
Cardiologists say their wards are quieter than ever.
They've seen a significant reduction in people coming for treatment of their heart attacks.
If you end up with a heart attack and because you're trying to avoid that very small risk of COVID at the moment, it isn't worth it.
Experts warn delayed diagnosis for heart conditions and other serious illnesses like cancer could overwhelm the hospital system once the COVID-19 pandemic is over.
And there is a major risk of another pandemic, which will be that because people delay treatment, they're going to end up with much worse conditions.
With no idea how long COVID-19 will be a factor here, doctors say delaying a diagnosis simply isn't worth the risk.
Sydney's 6 p.m. news is coming up with Mark Ferguson. Hello, Mark. What are you working on in the newsroom?
Yeah, good afternoon, Anne. Another busy day in the newsroom. We'll have that breaking news on Todd Greenberg. The NRL CEO quits the game in what's been described as a mutual decision, effective immediately. Full details tonight at 6. Also back on the sand, restrictions eased on some Sydney beaches, but what about Bondi? Spat on and punched, the vile attack that put a guard in hospital, but did the man in handcuffs escape the new $5,000 fine? More on the border war over Virgin. Our state government offers a lifeline, but with strings attached, it must relocate from Queensland to Western Sydney. Party crashes, the gathering these three thought was out of view. Here police with a loudspeaker warning. And it's meant for fine dining, but with restaurants closed, Prime Seafood is heading to the supermarket shelves. We'll tell you what's on offer. And all those details and plenty more, Sydney 7 News tonight at 6 o'clock.
See you then, Fergo. Thank you. 4:48, let's get a check on Sydney's traffic.
Good afternoon, Marina Ivanovic here in the Floorboards Online traffic chopper. If you're heading through Penrith, Mulgora Road at the Penrith Leagues Club, a set of traffic lights on the flash affecting your running in all directions. Having a look through Carramar for the Horsley Drive, it is a little slow heading southbound towards the Hume, and that's from an earlier breakdown. Builders and home renovators, go to Floorboards Online for a huge range of floorboards at great prices and immediate delivery. Book your free measure and quote at floorboardsonline.com.au, and a friendly reminder to wear gloves when filling up at the petrol station.
Day filled with emotion, and now there's a call out to school children to help embrace the Anzac spirit through song. Even though our services and marches have been cancelled this year, a virtual choir is being assembled so our anthem can still be heard. Jess Ridley reports.
Well, music has always been one of the big parts of how we commemorate Anzac Day. And normally at this time of year, we'd hear beautiful renditions of the Australian national anthem. But this year, with all physical dawn services, memorials and marches cancelled, a virtual choir is coming together with submissions from young singers across the country as well as New Zealand. These are just some of the entries. You can see some of the children wearing the medals of their forefathers. All the different voices will be edited together to form one big anthem.
With golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is good by sea.
Every time I think of it, I want to cry. Every time I look at another submission, I just want to cry. It's so special, and the passion and, you know, the understanding that the young people are singing with is really quite extraordinary.
The choir video will air on Saturday at 1 p.m. as part of an online Anzac Day concert being put on by children. And there's still time to get your entries in by tomorrow. Just visit the Aussie Youth Choir website.
Thanks, Jess. Next in 7's afternoon news, David Brown will have your latest weather forecast.
The first dream home renovation.
Ooh.
Whose reveal will wow the judges.
This is international standard styling.
And secure a spot at the top.
Just because Kane and Amy like it doesn't mean the judges are going to like it.
A reveal night.
It's a house rules first.
Unlike any other.
Brace yourselves, we're about to make it very interesting.
The shock announcement.
There is a huge surprise twist.
That could turn the game.
It's got the potential to change the leaderboard significantly.
On its head.
In this game, anything can change.
The reveals, tonight 7:30 on 7.
I need you to give blood. Like story time depends on it. Like Saturdays depend on it. Like tomorrow depends on it.
Your life might have changed, but for Australians like Eva, your blood donation is still as essential as ever. So please, book a donation with Lifeblood today.
When your functional digestive symptoms bring you down, choose Iberogast. Its combination of 9 medicinal herbs is clinically proven to relieve multiple digestive symptoms. Iberogast, herbal power that works.
For making sense of a changing world. For understanding what's next. For the edge you need. The Australian, for the informed Australian.
Employees of Budget Direct. Over 20 years, you have become the country's most award-winning insurer, providing top-notch cover for more than 3 million Australians.
It's a start. 22 million to go. Will you help people get a better deal on their car insurance?
Will you fight to save Australians on their home insurance? No, Karen. She loves saving people money.
Who are you?
Proudly saving Australians on insurance for 20 years. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
Go Walk in Skechers Go Walk 5, our most advanced walking shoe yet. We deliver technology in every step, featuring impact-reducing Skechers Comfort pillars and air-cooled Go-Go-Mat insoles. We made the best better. Skechers Go Walk 5.
Hi, Grandpa.
Are you ready?
Yes.
In the green rolling hills.
It's more important than ever to stay close.
And he can, with an extra 25 gigs of mobile data. Register via My Telstra app by 30th of June.
To win the chase requires a world of knowledge.
Reykjavik, Iraq.
Antarctica.
Cape Town.
Mexico City.
But with such high stakes, all it takes is one mistake.
The black drongo is a bird species native to which continent? Stop the clock. You flaming drongo?
New The Chase, coming up next on 7.
This weather report brought to you by Bridgestone Select for tyres and car servicing.
David's back with the very latest forecast. Afternoon again, Brownie.
Yes, it is that time, Anne, and good afternoon. Cool today, sunny tomorrow, and believe it or not, yes, it will be a lot warmer too. Now, today's top fell on the cool side of normal. There it is, 19.6 degrees. That was at 2:37 this afternoon, following that low there of around 13.9 degrees. In case you're wondering what this roll is, in fact, that's a roll of middle-level cloud that's just tumbling across the Sydney basin at the moment. That will clear out to sea over the next hour or so. Quite interesting, isn't it, in the lee of the Blue Mountains? That's what tends to happen when you get... Oh, anyway, look, let's have a look at current conditions around the state at the moment. We've got some light patchy rain happening through, well, parts of the western slopes. It's a result of this middle-level cloud deck that's been sweeping through. Quite cool at the moment in Orange, 14 degrees. Tamworth sitting on 21. Cooler down at Thredbo. At the moment, it's around 5 degrees. Now, of course, the cloud deck, there it is. It stretches all the way across our state. In fact, it goes right through to the west coast of the nation. Can you believe? It's what we call a northwest cloud band. The whole system is now, well, it peaked. It's now starting to run out of steam. In fact, the bulk of it will start to break up and contract towards the Queensland border tomorrow. Cold front will bring some rain to the southern states. We're expecting that rain to reach Melbourne tomorrow night. So ahead of it, it will be fine with cloud increasing around 20 degrees. Warm and sunny in Brisbane, 28 degrees. For us, it's a beautiful day. Fine, sunny. Forecast top 25 degrees. 7-day outlook. Have a look at this. Sunshine all the way. That's the latest weather. More at 6, Anne.
Thank you, Brownie. To some breaking news now. It's being reported that Virgin Australia is expected to go into administration in what would be the biggest airline collapse in Australian history. We'll have more details for you at 6 p.m. And that's Sydney's 4 p.m. news for this Monday. Mark Ferguson will bring you 7 News at 6. I'm Ann Sanders. Stay with 7 now for The Chase Australia, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
It says here, I saw at the corner of my eye a white female yelling, "Help, help, someone's trying to kill me." That's not what happened.
Peter Falconio was shot by a gunman who attempted to abduct his girlfriend Joanne Lees.
They found the killer.
He was the murderer.
Or did they? The case you think is closed.
34 inconsistencies.
A murder you thought was solved.
There's no projectile, there's no casing, no blood splatter. If somebody gets shot in the head, it makes a big mess, right?
It's what you don't know that will shock the world.
No one doubts me. Can you help me out? Did I run to that side?
I can't recall. I couldn't believe this had never seen the light of day.
We